Everybody, welcome to a special edition of Occupy Pro Wrestling Live. We are here to talk the results and reactions to WWE's Fastlane pay-per-view, the last one on the WWE network as we know it. Uh, I'm your and the first one on Peacock in the States. I'm your host Alex Smiley. You can find me as per usual on the Twitch at Alex Smiley Plays. I'm joined by my buddy James at JJ 70 on the Twitch. Our buddy Chris is feeling a little under the weather tonight, so we're hoping all the best for him. Hope he feels better soon. But we are going to power through and talk about what went down at Fastlane. The first thing we're going to touch on is we're going to touch on the quick results on what happened. So give me just a moment to pull up my results. Here we go. All right. So first thing we saw happen tonight. There we go. First thing we saw happen tonight was on the kickoff show. About that hour before Fastlane happened, we had Riddle defending the United States Championship against Ali. It was a decent match, but we saw Riddle end up picking up the win to retain. And we saw what appears to be the end of Retribution. So evidently, this show, Occupy Pro Wrestling Life, has managed to outlast Retribution, which is a shame. If this is the last time that we mention Retribution on this show, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, we've outlasted Retribution. We've outlasted
Yes,
Raw Underground.
we are the real victors in whatever war we've set up in our minds on there.
Pretty much.
But yeah, so the main show itself started off with the. Wait, did I have this correctly? Yeah, I do. The women's tag team championships with Shayna and Nia defending against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. In a good match, we saw Shayna and Nia retain the women's tag team championships. So that whole trope of people rivals being tag team doesn't happen tonight. After that we had the
Thank God.
after that we had the Intercontinental Championship. Big E defending against Apollo Crews. Oh, it was a good match, but we saw Big E picking up the win by pinfall to retain the Intercontinental Championship. We had an interesting match up next because this one was kind of on the card and then off the card. We had what was meant to be Braun Strowman taking on Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon was apparently so injured after Monday night that he had to find himself a replacement, and that replacement was Elias. So we had, I'd say, a fairly short match. We saw Braun Strowman picking up the win to essentially secure himself a place at WrestleMania. What that spot actually looks like is up in the air, but we know that he's got a spot now.
Oh, it was Shane versus
Oh yeah, most
Braun
likely.
at WrestleMania.
After that we had Seth Rollins taking on Shinsuke Nakamura in a fun little match. We did see Seth Rollins pick up the win there. After that, we had the no holds barred match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, or as our pal Chris says, Drew McIntyre. I can't roll the R's like that. But a really good brawl there. We did see Drew end up picking up the win. I think that was a match that we more or less all saw the end coming to, but there we go. After that was a really interesting one. This is one of the ones that I really want to talk about a little bit more later, but we did see Randy Orton taking on Alexa Bliss in a match that I'm pretty sure we were a little curious as to see what they were going to do. But we essentially saw Alexa Bliss picking up the win after seeing the return of the Fiend in a match that was very interesting to watch. Like I said, do want to talk about that more in just a minute or two here.
Yeah, we'll go more in depth.
But after that, we had our main event of the night with the special enforcer Edge. Daniel Bryan taking on Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And man, I would say that was a really fun match. But we did like with all things considered, we did end up seeing Roman Reigns picking up the win to retain that championship after a bit of interference from Edge, but and Jey Uso. Like I said, we'll get into the details. In fact, we might actually touch on that first, just to kind of we'll roll back the order a little bit here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the quick results of what went down at Fastlane, and yeah, we'll go ahead and get a little bit more into it now. So, yeah, let's talk about that main event first, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was Roman versus Bryan, winner with Edge as special enforcer, and it was actually a really great match because one is Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan could probably make anybody look good, and I like the way that the way it started was done, the way Bryan is the wily veteran, and he's using his smarts and he's using his ring skills to kind of
Oh yeah.
outclass Roman. Roman's got the power and everything, but Daniel's, he's faster. He's got the ring smarts and everything like that. And that's what was coming every time Roman would seem to get a leg up or get, try to get on top. Daniel would pull something out real fast. Bam, get back in control again. So he's really spent half the time just frustrating him throughout the whole match, which is well told. This was a well told match. And then you had, basically you take the ref bump, and as you know, then Edge is outside. He's the special enforcer. He comes in now, and it just deteriorates from there. Now, I will be honest with you. I kind of I kind of flaked a little bit on this, but it's not nothing to do with the match. The match was good. It was a long day, so I kind of drifted in and out, and so I missed some more parts. But essentially, I think I kind of drifted back in when Jey Uso seemed to super kick Edge. Did he come in super kick Edge?
He super kicked Edge, then he super kicked Daniel Bryan, and was trying to get Roman to wake back up, basically, so he could.
Yeah, because didn't like Bryan have him down. I think Bryan hit him with the knee or something.
He hit Uso with the knee. It started. He grabbed the chair that Jey had decided he was going to use on Bryan. Used it on Jey, then decided he was going to try to use on. This is sort of the sequence. This is what started that interesting sequence that led to the finish.
Yeah.
He goes to try to use the chair on Roman. Roman ducks out of the way, and he ends up hitting Edge instead.
Yeah, that's basically the Shawn Michaels. That's the Shawn Michaels Undertaker.
Yeah, basically.
Move. They did that. They did that way.
Oh yeah, no, and so we see
that's way.
So what we end up seeing then is like as Daniel, and it's funny because as soon as he hit Edge with that chair, I was kind of like, okay, Edge is not gonna let that slide. No. Even if he thought that maybe that was an accident, I don't think he's gonna let it slide that he just got smacked in the shoulder with the steel chair. So it's like, so we see Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. So it was essentially somewhat a variation of the Undertaker. I forgot what match it was. It was Undertaker and like.
I think
was
so.
it Triple H?
Yeah, No. I will say, yeah.
It was Shawn Michaels basically was trying to hit. He accidentally was trying to hit. It was one of the guys. He tried to hit him. He hit Undertaker. He's mad because he's got to make the cover now. He's got to make the count.
Oh yeah,
now.
So
that's a variation of that one.
It's
so it's Edge hitting Bryan. Bryan getting pissed, hitting Edge back.
Yeah.
And then Bryan gets the sequence, and Bryan puts him in the yes lock.
I was.
And
Roman
taps.
That was.
Roman tapped. Actually, that's the thing that got me too. Roman tapped. Roman was started tapping.
You know what? You're right. That's what it was. Yeah. He had Roman tapping, and what was interesting to me about it was a very small detail of not only was he tapping, but you could tell that he was like practically out of it. He was passing out as he was tapping.
Yeah, he did that. He did the passed out tap where he basically has nothing left. He's just
Exactly.
doing this.
And then yeah,
and because he's out,
and Edge,
he's
despite
just,
the fact that he decided to insert himself as the referee earlier in the match, decided, no, I'm not gonna count that. I'm just gonna beat up on you some more.
Yeah, he's just gonna bash.
That's right. Now I remember that was the moment he decided to use the. Yeah, and then he just walked away. Yeah, no, yeah. So we end up. Yeah.
And here's what I liked about that. Here's what I like about that. Roman just covers Bryan. He doesn't do anything else. He doesn't try to do his move. He doesn't try to, do another move to him. He just, both of them took, basically Bryan gets, because Bryan took a chair to the face and then another chair to the head. Bryan's out, essentially. Roman, with enough straight left, just rolls over and covers him. And that's how, and the third ref comes in, taps up. Counts. And that's good. And I like that. At least it ended right there. Nothing added. Just.
Yeah, exactly. It was a situation where Roman was like, you know what? This is fine. I'm just gonna take this. I'm gonna take this one.
Yeah, because you can basically say, hey, he knows he tapped out.
Because he knows he escaped that match by the skin of his teeth, so to speak, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It was a really good match, and I do want to echo a point that Chris gave us earlier, so that way we could let people know. I think we're all in agreement on this. This very much feels like it's the setup for the triple threat scenario at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Especially that.
I agree. It's all
especially
so that
between the moment where Roman basically tapped, where he tapped essentially, just with no ref present to actually count it, obviously, and Edge's involvement in dealing with both Bryan and Roman. Daniel Bryan now has a case to make for getting himself into this match at WrestleMania. So and it's a legit case. It's not even that the match ended in shenanigans, which there were some, but it was that moment in which Roman tapped that Bryan can say, look, I made Roman Reigns tap. I made him practically pass out for the whole world to see, for the Thunderdome and the whole world to see. If Edge hadn't gotten involved, then if the ref had been there, I probably would have, I would have won that. But he knows, and he has proof, because you know how they like to show the footage later on.
Yeah, it's video.
Like, I have proof here.
Yeah.
I made Roman tap. Therefore, I deserve a shot at this title at WrestleMania. So, it's going to be very curious to see how they set that up come SmackDown on Friday. I mean, that's pretty easy. I'm just curious to see it play out more than anything.
It depends on who they bring out. If Roman comes walking out first, and then that's when Bryan inserts himself, or Edge inserts himself, and then Bryan inserts himself, and then they have a three-way they're talking about. Hey, like I said, here's the videotape. You see he's clearly tapping out. Edge, if you had done what you're supposed to have done, you would have seen it. I should be champion. It should be me and you at WrestleMania. Yeah. And that's it. And then Edge is like, well, what's going on? Then Roman could no, you're a hypocrite, like that, or like that. So Roman has no leg to stand on. So they're going 100%. And I always start saying is the triple threat is a way for they can have Roman lose without actually eating a pin. But now the decision is who they want to win. They could have Roman win.
The three obvious scenarios in terms of who wins. Roman obviously could just be the conqueror that he really wants to be, or that they might portray him as by just having him win. But if he loses, there's two different ways you can look at it. You could give Edge his moment by having him actually win the title off the back of actually winning the Royal Rumble, because it's kind of a tradition. Like you see it more often than not where the Royal Rumble winner wins the title at WrestleMania, and it would be okay, especially for Edge, considering everything he went through last year in particular. Like he made his return to wrestling after being out for yeah, for almost a full decade being out of action. He
Yeah.
made his return at the Royal Rumble like 2020 and was starting to build something up. Got injured for a bit, but came back again and is now like solidly here. And as our buddy Chris had been saying previously, Edge isn't just a part timer per se. Like he's actually regularly
Yeah, he's full
on
time.
TV, so he has every reason. Like he has every reason to be essentially the champion coming out of WrestleMania. And again, because if it's a triple threat,
Correct.
then he can pin Daniel Bryan or whatever to win that, have his moment, but then Roman can be Roman, be like, you didn't actually beat me. So they can build something off of that. And the flip side of that, of course, is that Daniel Bryan could have a WrestleMania moment, but it also not involving Roman to take the pin or the submission. And the same thing there. You know, it's all about
Yep.
kind of what they can build off of that after WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's about where they're leaning toward on SmackDown. If they want to have Bryan do one more world title run as a face, because because his last run he was a great heel. Maybe before he retires, he wants to run one more time as a face. You know, they could do that, or they want to do Edge. So there
Yeah,
are options there.
absolutely.
All right, and so like I said, overall though, I would say again, like I said, it's not the fault of the match.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
it's
wasn't
fine.
feeling good, so I kind of zoned out a little bit. But from what I saw and everything,
Oh yeah,
great
absolutely a great
match.
match.
I thought it was a great main event, and it's a great way. I think it was a great way to end the show. And there was that split second I thought maybe Bryan was going to win, and I'll give him props. They made me actually forget for a second that no titles are trying to change hands tonight, but I almost thought it did. So
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
well done.
So like I said,
Then we had the Fiend was now we
yeah,
went to the Fiend
the
match. Well, not the Fiend, the
mm-hmm.
Alexa Bliss. This was basically some Acme shit going down.
It really was.
I was like, "This is some Wile E. Coyote Acme stuff going on here." First of all, because he comes out, and you said you had the funniest comment on Discord. He's like, "Well, you got to
Shouldn't
tell
have had
Randy
all that
Orton
Taco Bell,
to stay
man.
off
I'm
that Taco
telling you.
Bell before he comes out to the."
Oh, that's a
He thought he does. Randy does his thing on the ropes and he
right. It's
starts
like, oh
spitting
my
out
gosh. I
black.
was like, okay, now I know what. Now I
I was
know
like,
what
"What?"
we're in for with this. But you know what? Hey, to their
Yeah,
credit, they rung the opening bell, and I even made that comment then. I was like, okay, they rung the bell, so technically this is a match.
I,
For everything that's gonna happen,
yeah. I
yeah.
know. I like it. I like it. They didn't go. We thought they were
Oh
gonna go
yeah.
cinematic.
It
It
was
was
always,
always gonna be
and
cinematic and
I
everything like.
kind of felt like I have felt like they were always gonna build towards bringing the Fiend back. It just made sense. But to their,
That.
but
Well, I knew that. I said in the prediction show.
oh yeah,
Fiend's gonna show up. This is basically a vehicle to bring the Fiend back. That's been this. That's what this whole feud has been. This whole feud has been basically uh, basically keeping, after they burned the Fiend and everything, was basically keeping the feud alive while whatever they need to do with the Fiend and everything, or whatever he need to do and everything like that. I don't know what he need to do off television. Maybe he had to just get off TV for a little bit. But whatever they need to do was keep it going until he was ready to come back.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, no,
That's what
one
I
hundred
thought this
percent.
was.
And yeah,
And it was like you said. So basically, they come in. Lexa does her thing. Basically, a remix of her entrance, the Bray Wyatt's entrance, and then the freaking theme song just kind of slows up and skips and shit.
yeah.
It was
See,
the weirdest.
I feel like I've
That was weird. No, it was just the theme song was. It starts with her theme song, and then it goes to Lexa's
yeah.
Playground, and then it kind of fades
I
in and out almost
I mean,
like it's
honestly,
skipping.
I think
And,
that's what took me a little bit out of, like, I felt so out of touch about that whole thing because I'm like,
oh, it's weird. It's a weird thing, but I
yeah, oh
did like
yeah,
her look.
oh
I
yeah,
did like her look. She looks cute and creepy. So you're kind of
right,
like,
right, right, right.
okay, I don't know whether to like it or be scared. And then so she does. So Orton's like ready. Always like, yeah, I'm just gonna RKO her. I'll be done with this. That's what he's thinking. And then suddenly the fire shoots up, and the ref. And the funniest thing, the ref bails. You can see in the background the rails jumps
Yeah,
over
he
the
was like,
ropes.
forget this, I'm
Like, the hell
out.
with this. What's up?
Right, so he was like, forget this, I'm out.
Yeah, I said. The ref's like, get this, I'm out. He just jumped over the. I saw the ref just jump out the ropes. So it's like he's like, I'm done with this. Poof! I was like, whoa, what the? Because the flame just popped up. It was actually really well done in camera. Just like flame just popped up. Randy's like, what the hell? Yeah, Alexa gets outside, and then he charges her. She moves. He rams into the thing. She laughs at him. She skips around the ring. He stalks her, and then a light falls from the ceiling. I was like, "What's going to act? This is going to like an Acme safe going to hit him? What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah, no,
And
exactly.
then she throws a fireball like she's freaking
See,
Kane.
one thing I liked was the freaking wall of fire that blocked Randy. I was like, oh, at that point I was like, okay, now I know exactly what kind of match we're having. But
Yeah, I knew it too. I was like,
again, to
"This is
their
definitely a
credit, they
match."
rung the opening bell, so it was technically a match. And I keep bringing
Yeah, it was
that
a
up
match.
because that was a big question we had during the predictions. Was is this actually gonna be a match, let alone anything else? You know, like was this something because we know
Yeah.
how WWE is about doing
Well, no, I knew they were not going to do. I knew they were
like
not
they
going
weren't
to
gonna
do
necessarily do a
any type
wrestling
of
match per se.
real violence,
Yeah,
man on versus
right.
woman,
No,
intergender violence. They're
no,
not doing
because
that.
that's not.
They can't. They can't really do that. They're
Yeah,
corporate. They can't do this.
but the
Publishing.
question was more how they were gonna
So they
approach it.
can't really do that. No, but they did it in a way that was enough to add to the
Oh
creepiness
yeah,
of Alexa being basically female
right,
demon,
exactly.
and she having supernatural powers. So she's trying to, and she's like, almost got you, almost hit him with a light, almost got you. I've been like, you know what? It's time to go. When the light falls from the ceiling, maybe it's time to go.
Right,
He should have went to hell with it
right.
and walked out.
It's like they had
You just spit up black, start the match. You're spitting up
yeah, they had everything in
venom.
their power to basically stop the match the moment you had stuff falling off the ceiling. Like, hold on a second. Let's
Yeah,
talk. Like,
stuff just fell
speaking
off
of
the
health and
ceiling.
safety concerns, let's not having
I
light
think.
rigs fall off the ceiling for a second. That's not necessarily a good idea.
Yeah, you think maybe it's time to bail. Go. You know what? You're cool, Lex. It ain't worth it. I'm
Exactly.
out. Like that. So, and then she throws a fireball, and then he finally looks like he's ready to. He's like, I got this. Well, you can't do nothing now. And then suddenly the hand comes up underneath the ring. And you can see it. She's kind of laughing and
Yeah,
pointing.
exactly.
Yeah. Or does that look like? Wait a minute, there's something behind me, isn't there? He had that look on his face, like, yeah, there's probably something there. And he turns around and it's the Fiend. Well, he sees the Fiend, and the Fiend looks burnt up, literally zombie Fiend now, burnt to a
Freaking and
crisp
okay,
Fiend.
honestly, here's the other thing,
Uh,
and the lighting was an interesting thing to this too. Like,
yes,
well,
the red light.
somewhere between the lighting and just how he looked, I'm like, I took one look at it and I was like, okay, um, I'm hoping this is another mask that was created from the workshop of Tom Savini because that's something that's a
I
big
think it was.
connection
No,
with
well,
that
it
they've
was.
had with them for doing anything to do with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend stuff. Um, but also the purple, like the slight purple on everything, the purple hue of everything. The other thought I had was
Well,
freaking Ivan Ooze. So I was like, well, I don't know about that one, but
no,
it was definitely a
it
good
was the
look.
ring lighting. It went regular lighting,
Oh,
then it
you know
went
what? Yeah,
red lighting, and then
yeah,
it
you know
turned
what it is? The
regular
red light.
again, and then it kind of went a little black
Yeah, no,
purple,
exactly. That
which were the
sorry. Yeah,
smoke.
I was looking at a very specific still image where it happens to be that reddish purple lighting, and I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, well, I think it was
yeah,
to
they've
enhance the smoke.
accidentally made the Fiend look like Ivan Ooze, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think they're using the
Oh
lighting to
yeah, no,
enhance the smoke
for
to
sure.
give the smoke, because what they're trying to do is that one of the reasons why they have them leave the ring was to, I don't know how they snuck him underneath. They may have snuck him underneath, or he's been underneath the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know how
There
they did it.
is.
Well,
Well,
it's
I
not that
mean, one
hard to
thing
do
to
that.
consider at least is, and this was something I was looking at when I was reading up on some results because I was just trying to make sure I caught some of the details that I might have missed. And it appeared as
Mm-hmm.
though, at least for a portion of that match, they actually took away the live little thing in the corner, which usually indicates, oh, you know, because that's what they always have on these shows is that they're live, right? I think by when they
Yeah.
did that, I think they were indicating that that particular portion of it was pre-taped. So at any point during the show, in between
Well, it was
like
smooth.
when they did entrances, like at whatever point they weren't necessarily pre-taped anymore, they could have found a way for the Fiend to. I'm not gonna get into the, but my point
Yeah.
is
Well,
that I'm sure there was a way.
it's
Sorry,
smooth
that the,
editing.
but it
It
wasn't.
was smooth
Yeah,
editing. It's
it was
well enough to
interesting.
on
It was an
camera.
interesting detail that they didn't try to play it off too much like it was live, except that like they seem like you said they did it seamlessly so that it wasn't as noticeable.
Yeah. I will be honest with you. It
Yeah.
was seamlessly done,
Um.
and the way they did it was seamless. I did not see any cut in
Right.
from
And
live
that's
to
to me
tape
that was
feed.
kind of what they did. That's kind of like what happened at TLC when they did the Firefly Inferno match. I didn't fully realize that it was pre-taped until someone else pointed it out. I was like, okay, they're getting a better handle
Oh
of the
yeah, it was
pre-tape
notice
stuff.
the
Yeah.
images weren't moving.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and I didn't. This time, this time they learned from it. I think
oh
they
yeah, I
stayed
think they stayed
tighter
even tighter on stuff.
on them. It's not showing the crowd. They
Mhm.
stayed tighter on
Absolutely.
them. So before when they did that in TLC, they were kind of in a
Yeah.
wide shot, and you could see the picture
Oh
images
yeah,
not
yeah, that's a good
moving.
point. Yeah.
So this time they learned
Oh, absolutely.
to keep tight on them
Yeah, from
and don't show the
yeah, from
pictures. So
yeah,
then
from a
they
production
cut that.
standpoint, I think they were a lot, like you said, they were a lot tighter on that.
Yeah, but then you have Fiend. Basically, she pushes him into the Fiend. Sister Abigail, she straddles
Right,
him,
and gets the win.
and
And
they
remember,
have
and the record books will show that, excuse me, that Alexa
yeah
Bliss defeated
that
Randy Orton.
Alexa Bliss beat Randy Orton. And the ref finally does appear
Right.
to make it
Oh
count too.
yeah.
That's another reason why it's
Exactly.
kind of pre-taped.
They
Ref's
found.
not in.
Mm-hmm.
Ref doesn't appear to the ring until it
Yes,
goes live
that's a
again.
good point. But yeah.
Because he jumps, they do the from the angle they did, you can see the ref over the ref's shoulder. So the ref comes underneath the camera and kind of counts. So, like I said, it's like where did the ref vanish to the whole time? And then suddenly he appears. He's like, was the ref just hiding under the ring? Like, nope, I ain't going in there. Fire's shooting up there. She's shooting fireballs. I ain't messing
Exactly.
with this.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but yeah, the Fiend was legit. That is legit nightmare fuel, though. That look of the Fiend, though, legit nightmare fuel. So it just
Yeah.
looks so creepy.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that the Fiend is back because I think the best way for them to settle that feud is to have something at WrestleMania that's a little bit more
now,
impactful than whatever the heck that was that they had that one year.
well, no, I mean, yeah, they're going to have the blow off there. More than likely, Randy probably is going to take the
Probably.
pin. I'm thinking Orton probably gets beat, and then they probably they might move the Fiend up into the main event. I don't know how they're. Well, right, the Fiend is on Raw now, isn't
Mm,
he? Yeah.
I
Uh,
yeah no yeah yeah, the
I'm not
Fiend and
sure.
Alexa are both on Raw. Yeah, they're both on Raw.
That's
Randy's on Raw.
Oh no.
It's a Raw thing.
I'm not sure where they're going after that, but then
Yeah,
they can end
honestly,
this feud
that's a
finally.
feud they could easily just come to an end at there because I think yeah I feel like the long because
But overall, it wasn't really a match. It was just a way to reintroduce the
that's
Fiend. You
fine.
know what? Fine.
And our buddy Chris
It's
said as
fine.
such too. I just yeah just to kind of reiterate what he was telling us. It was fine. I think as far as
Yeah.
as a way to set up the return of the Fiend and to get us back on track for
Yeah.
Fiend versus Orton at Mania, I think it was fine.
At
Um,
Mania. So what we'll probably see on Raw tomorrow is more probably Wyatt's return with
oh
the
for sure.
Funhouse and everything. Maybe he appears
Oh for
back
sure for
again.
sure.
Or he might not even do that anymore. He may just appear in the promo. He might even not do the Funhouse anymore. I
Yeah,
have no idea what
that's
they're
the
gonna do
thing.
with the
Like
Funhouse.
we don't.
Maybe
Yeah,
or
that I think
Alexa.
that's the biggest
Like,
thing about it. We just don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
yeah. Well, no, it's a good thing. Actually, it was a good thing he hadn't done the Funhouse
Right.
in like 6
Exactly.
months.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because he was doing it every week, and it loses special. It loses the special of
Mhm.
being special if you're doing it every
Yeah.
week. Because he was doing it every week, and it loses some of its
True.
magic.
True. True.
So it's been like I said, it's been about 6 months now, or well, about 6 months. He hasn't done it, so it coming back now is going to be special
Yeah.
because he
Yeah. Yeah.
hasn't done it in
Exactly.
so long.
It'll be good.
So we'll
Yeah.
probably see Funhouse. Well, what was after?
We
Then
had
we
before
had
the, yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
Nakamura. It was
Um,
Nakamura versus Seth. I
no,
believe before
before
that,
that
wasn't
was Drew versus Sheamus. No holds barred. That was
it? Oh, Drew versus Sheamus. Uh, this really don't have. We don't. I mean, we
no.
really don't have
It
to say
was
much. It
it
was.
was
It
it
was
was really
basically
yeah
what it was.
yeah
No holds barred fight.
yeah. It was
The only issue, and like Chris said, the only issue he had with it is they sabotaged the story before
mm-hmm.
they started. Being that they had the meaningless fights before, and there was no real stakes because we already have it set. Drew is facing Bobby Lashley. Now, I know the commentators were selling it as, well, Sheamus is in the way. He can't fully concentrate on Lashley because he's got this thing with Sheamus, and he's got to get it out the way before he can concentrate on Lashley. Fine,
still
but it
sort of
should have
they
been,
still could
and
have
we
done
stated
something
it.
with the match itself.
Yeah, it should have been. This should have been the winner go faces Lashley at WrestleMania. That's what it should have been, and that's what the way Sheamus was kind of selling it. Almost the way Sheamus was selling it. Sheamus, is like, what about me? It should be me at WrestleMania. So Sheamus was selling it that Drew has used him to springboard to WrestleMania and hasn't given him his props that he helped get him, the champion. So it should have been, the stakes should have been, and the story should have been, Drew and Sheamus are fighting for the number one spot. And Sheamus gets upset, because Drew always seems to get these chances. He hasn't, and he's like, "I helped you, and I've never got a chance. It's been a while since I had my chance. What about me?" It should have been like that. I think if they sold it
Yeah.
like that, it makes it much more compelling of a fight. Because it's a great. Honest with the match itself was great. I mean, these guys were tearing each other up. I mean, those Kindle stick shots hurt. You can see it. These guys are going all out, stiff,
Oh yeah.
brutal as hell. Because you can see those shots. They bleeding. Their backs are hurt. Their backs are red marks and everything. So they were really going at it. And it was just that you already know Drew is going to win. It's pretty much
Yeah.
stated to win and everything because he's already going to
Yeah.
WrestleMania. So it's kind of it takes away from what should have been more. Well, it was still
Oh yeah.
great. I'm
No,
not saying
for
it wasn't
sure.
a bad match, but the stakes are not as the stakes are not as it should be for if you had like, hey, number one contendership up, winner goes to WrestleMania and face Lashley. That would have made it more compelling than what it was. But it was brutal. I mean, they killed half the Thunderdome, basically throwing Sheamus through the screen
Yeah.
like that. So I feel bad for the guys. I feel bad for the people who had that screen in the Thunderdome. Now they can't watch. No, I'm joking.
But yeah, I
Yeah, they're
think
not on camera anymore.
to kind of sum it up because I don't want, like you said, essentially it was a good match, but it boiled down to something that it was just like, okay, they were clearly just trying to do something for the two of them before WrestleMania. There was no real stakes.
Yeah,
The lot
yeah.
like I there is another match I can think of where that was the case, but there was a lot more writing on it at the time. Uh, to some degree, it
Yeah.
reminded me of when they had Stone Cold versus Triple H at I want to say No Way Out 2001, because that
There
was
was
Three
no way
Stages
out.
of
There was
Hell
no
if
way
I'm
out.
correctly.
2001. No,
No, this was 2001
2002.
because this was because that was
2001.
the month
2001.
that yeah,
The Three
because
Stages of Hell,
that was
wasn't
to
it?
settle their feud. They had a much more heated rivalry at that time because let's not forget at that time Triple
Yeah.
H was like he was the mastermind as they put it for the whole thing
Well,
about
yeah.
taking Steve
This was
Austin out for all
responsible
that
for the
time.
car. He hired
Exactly. So they made that whole
Rikishi.
like there was so much to that rivalry that it made sense for Stone Cold to be focused on dealing with Triple H when he had a title when he has a title match at WrestleMania. Here we had
Yeah.
I could tell what they were going for. They were going for something, but they
But
didn't
they didn't do it
they
right.
didn't build it up.
It was aborted. Yeah, there was kind of a variation
Yeah,
of
they didn't
that,
build it
but
up as much. I feel as it
and
boiled down
but
to.
it was no. It was they didn't need to. If they were going to do that, they shouldn't have had those
Yes,
matches on Raw.
agreed.
Again, they shouldn't have had those
Agreed.
matches on Raw. And they shouldn't have, and it should have been, like you said, the stake should have been, yes, winner of this match gets the number one contender. It should have gone that route. You're right. I see what they were trying to achieve, but it was a roundabout,
Yeah.
dumb way to do it.
And
It
again,
just did not
yeah,
do
and
it. It
again,
did not do it.
as the three of us have even agreed on, that's more on the booking than the match itself. The match itself was great. Like as far as
Yeah.
yeah.
The match itself was great. These guys, man, they pull it out. They were, whoo, they put
Oh,
their heart and
absolutely.
souls in that one. That was a brutal, and you know what? It was a brutal fight without having to resort to blading.
Right.
Nobody needed
Right.
to
Right.
get
Right.
cut. I
Exactly.
mean,
Um.
it was, I
Yeah.
mean, the only thing you could see the shots and the
Mm-hmm.
welts and everything like that. So yeah, it was a brutal match. Well done. It's just that it's not their fault that the total booking of this was totally messed up, janky with that. So and then we have after that, what was it?
Yeah, we had the Shinsuke
Shinsuke
versus
match.
Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, before that match, I said in the Discord they had basically Riddle come rolling up in the
Yeah,
scooter,
what was?
and he's like,
I'm sorry, but
no,
all I can think of was what the heck was up with that segment. Like maybe.
it's Spicoli.
Mm,
He's doing
I'm
Spicoli
I
from Fast
I'm
Times at Ridgemont
yeah.
High. He's doing the surfer dude. He's doing the surfer dude from California. The high the surfer dude that likes to
Right.
get high. He's
Only
he's
they have
carefree.
only they have
That's Spicoli.
hey only
He's doing
hey
Spicoli
only
from
they have to
Fast
do it in a way
Ridgemont High.
that they don't like make it obvious like what they're going for because of the way that they.
No, yeah, they're like, oh, he's
No.
smoking that weed. That's fine. Everybody who knows that he's tapping into
Right.
wacky tobacco, but he's playing it like I said, he's playing it like basically if Fast Time Richmond High, probably before you were born on that one. But he's doing Spicoli. He's doing the surfer, laid back surfer dude, California. That's more you usually see more stereotypical in movies like the '90s, '80s, and '90s. That's what he's playing. And it is funny. I had no problem with it. It made me laugh because it's more of like, man, he's so. It's got like I said, a little bit of RVD thrown in 2000
Yeah, I
RVD,
mean.
where RVD's like,
Anyways, yeah. So I mean, the match itself was
oh, and the match
good.
itself was good. So too, these are two top tier workers, man. It's Shinsuke King of Strong Style. Seth Rollins is
Mm-hmm.
Seth freaking Rollins. And it was a great match. These guys really put on a good show. Uh, like I said,
Yeah.
not really
No.
much I can say. I mean, Seth Rollins probably won. I think that it's a way to keep. I don't know what's up with Cesaro. He's probably they're playing. He's
I
hurt
think
right now,
so. I
and
mean,
I think
at the
kayfabe
very
hurt
least, yeah.
right now.
See,
I think.
it's like for everything. It's funny because when we on the previous match we said that there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, but we found a way. With this one, I mean, the feud itself just
Really?
kind of started within the last month, maybe.
Yeah, this is a match to keep Rollins busy. It's a match to keep two guys in the
Yeah.
spotlight. Just to kind of progress the feud with Rollins and Cesaro
Yeah, and
to
I mean, and
WrestleMania.
of course, there's nothing wrong with that.
And
I just wanted to kind of
no,
get it stated that that's what I kind of see here. But I mean, yeah, again, the match itself was good, and I wouldn't mind seeing either seeing these two go at it again, or if Cesaro is able to compete before WrestleMania, for them to do their thing at WrestleMania. Because let's be honest, a good part of this match was Rollins focusing on Cesaro, at least talking about Cesaro throughout the match. Like he did the thing where he was
yeah,
trying
he
to
was
do the
talking about
Cesaro
it. Yeah, the
swing on
whole match
friggin'
he's
Shinsuke.
even
It's
tried to
like,
do the he's even tried to do the swing.
yeah, so it's like, okay, I that that's an indicator of, okay, I see what you're going for there. I wouldn't mind seeing that match at
Yeah,
Mania though. That would be a good match.
no,
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's where they're
100%.
going. It's Cesaro versus Rollins at Mania. This was more of a way to keep
Yeah,
it
and that's perfectly
going.
fine.
Uh, so like I said, it was nothing more than it was a decent match. It was like I said, these two great guys, great chemistry, put up a great match, and well,
Yeah, but
there's
that's
nothing else
okay.
we can say other than that. That's okay. And then before
Before that was
what was
Elias
before that?
versus
Was it?
Braun Strowman in the match that I don't think
Oh yeah.
that I think
Well, definitely.
a good.
This was definitely a way to stretch this thing out to WrestleMania. I
It's
know that I think it's kayfabe. That was
oh
a
no, yeah,
kayfabe knee injury because they're doing. It wasn't. It happened on Raw. It happened on
oh, it
before
happened on the pre-show. I missed.
pre-show.
Okay,
It was.
that's what happened. I
You
must
know,
have
it's
missed
not
that.
pre-show. More like that day. So this happened
Right,
today.
right,
He's
right, right.
training. It happened. He's training and network exclusive, and he's training. He's doing. They say when Shane trains,
Mm-hmm.
he trains hard, and it didn't make any sense of why is he training hard the day
Right.
of the
Well, you know
fight.
what?
That doesn't make sense.
Well, you know what I would say to that then is that
Yeah. So
his
the kayfabe,
yeah
it was a kayfabe
his
injury
injury is
to
his
this
injury is
wrestler.
probably similar to Reba's injury on or excuse me
Rebel.
Rebel
Rebel.
uh, to Rebel's injury on over on AEW. So it's one of those
Yeah,
deals
that's what.
because Shane's got the freaking crutch and everything. You know, it's just like you could
Yeah, well, you
he's
got
got
the
the
ice,
ice and
you
the
got the
crutch. So
crutch.
you
I mean,
could
he's selling it. I'll give you
yeah.
that. He's selling it. He's selling the hell out
But
of it.
yeah, so
I'll give.
he gets a lot. I I love the fact that I love how they set that up immediately before the match started too. Shane just hanging out with Elias before the match ends up happening, and he's about to do it,
And everybody
and
knows what's
Elias is
coming,
about to do his
except
thing,
Elias.
and Shane's like, "Oh, here's the thing, I'm actually gonna have you replacing me in this match." I'm like, wait a minute.
He's like, yep. He's like, yep. And
and
you're on now. Okay.
to and to be and to be and to be super honest, I don't I that's almost as much as I really can really say about the match because the match itself
Oh, well,
was what it
yeah.
was.
No, I did like that kind of Riker. Like Riker's like his roadie, and he kind of threw him under the bus a little bit because he saw Strowman coming. You know, Strowman likes to do that run around the ring and run you over, and Riker sees it coming and ducks.
Exactly. This is
And that was cold. That was kind of cold blooded because Riker kind of turns and he sees it and he ducks underneath, and Strowman jumps over him and hits Elias, and then Riker throws him in the ring.
yeah. So
I was like, "What side are you on, man? You just let me
yeah,
lose out here. You have to throw me back in the ring.
yeah. But anyways,
You could just left him out and get counted out.
yeah.
It would have been fine.
Um.
Just throws him back in the ring. So Riker's like this roadie. Well, Riker's like a
Oh
roadie
yeah.
almost. It's like his road dog. So, but yeah, there's not much. It was mostly meant to, you know, Strowman basically gets look Strowman look good. Elias is got his comeuppance. Shane's looking like like he
Yeah.
is.
Exactly.
Shane's being a
Exactly.
douche. He
I
just he
mean,
just threw, he just threw
yeah.
Elias to the wolves.
This was clearly
So
a thing to help get Strowman like more. I don't know something.
well, like I said,
Yeah, they're
they're
postponing, and
postponing Strowman killing
that
Shane. So Shane's gonna do his, it's gonna be WrestleMania. What Shane does, he's gonna jump from very high. He's gonna hit like a high. He's gonna hit the high spots and everything. Eventually, he'll lose though
yeah
the Strowman.
yeah. To be
And
honest,
so
like
that go
I
that route.
kind of feel like this match was a perfect example, possibly the most perfect example of the theme of the night, which was like in many cases continuing
Yeah,
to just
continuing
trying to
that. Yeah,
continue the
just
build,
wait for
trying to
WrestleMania.
postpone certain specific finishes and stuff till you get those WrestleMania moments. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that plays into what we had the next match, which was the Intercontinental
Yep.
match, title match,
Yep.
I believe.
Apollo Crews
Yeah,
defending, or
and
Biggie defending against Apollo Crews.
yeah, it's Apollo Crews, or shall we say, New Black
Yeah.
Panther.
And I guess.
I cannot get over the accent, man. Suddenly, Apollo just slips right into
And you
that
know what?
accent.
And
All of a sudden, he slipped right into it, like it was not, like it was his
yeah,
natural
and you know what?
voice. Oh, that's I always. He's like I have always had this. He's always had the accent. He's been talking with American accent because that's what he should.
And you know what's funny is that there's a certain amount of credit to that idea. Like whether it's like, hey,
That is.
because
Like
here's
I
the
said,
like,
that's why
because truth
that's
or
why I like
not,
it so much.
there's enough there's enough credit to that because I mean, and this is something I talked about a little bit on Thursday even was like when he was on the Indies, he was Uha Nation, and he had kind of a he had this whole thing to him. And I think he's kind of pulling from that well a little bit with this particular portrayal, and I think that's pretty cool. And I
I
will
wish
like
no. I wish he had, like I said. I wish he had done that when he first showed up. He'd be in a higher spot right now if he had done that when he first showed up. He was just a white meat babyface for the last 2 years with no personality. It was just white meat babyface, blandless babyface,
yeah,
no
but yeah,
personality.
exactly. So I mean, so at
And
at some you do eventually reach a point where you just need to do something to
yeah,
take that next step. And we've seen some people try a little too hard to take that next step, but I think Apollo's managed to I think to the extent Apollo's started to find something to really out push him there.
Yeah, he's found something that he's good. And I hope, and like I said before, I'm hoping he gives himself a valet. He would be perfect to get himself like, if he's doing like that stick, he should get himself like from Black Panther, get himself a warrior woman to
Yeah,
go
I
with
mean,
him.
no, yeah, no,
Come
I
on, that
hear
would
you on
be
that.
great,
Yeah, no,
wouldn't it?
and so like the match itself, so the match itself was fun.
Oh, the match itself
It
was
was
good.
good.
I like the match. No, I like the match itself because I like Biggie. It wasn't a long match too. It
Right,
wasn't really a long match. It
right. The
was
match itself
actually
was pretty short, but
pretty about
it
10
was a good
minutes.
10 minutes. You know, it was a good short match.
Yeah, it was a good intense. I like Big E's intensity now. Big E's like, you wanted this butt whooping. I'm gonna give it to you. Big E's showing that he's not. Big E's showing that he's not the friendly. Like right now, yeah, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
burn
Oh,
your
that
house
hey,
down. I'm gonna
that
plow
that
your fields. I'm gonna
right. Hey,
burn you
that
to the ground. I
yeah,
love that intensity because Big E has not shown that intensity since being the New Day. He's always been the big
yeah,
goofy
yeah.
dancing
Um.
guy. Now it sounds like he's
Mhm.
pissed off. Now he's like, I'm gonna hurt you. You wanted me to be like this? Well, I'm gonna be like this. You called down the thunder, I'm gonna bring it to you.
Yeah.
And I like that. And then Cruz is showing that intensity now that he's just, this ain't over with yet. I'm gonna hurt you too. So we have now, like I said, I understand, and I thought, and I did in the prediction, I thought that Cruz they might
Mhm.
have Cruz win this by shenanigans, and then have Big E
Mhm.
chase him at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I thought
That,
they were gonna go that route, but no, this was basically by the skin of his teeth.
Big E still defending. Yeah.
It almost looked like it was a double pin. It almost looked
Mhm.
like it was a double pin, and that may be what Apollo's
Mhm.
going to sell this coming Friday. Apollo, so I pinned you. Look, your shoulders are
Yeah.
actually down,
100%.
and that's what Apollo
And
might
you know what? You
sell
know what's kind of funny
with.
about this match too? And I noticed. I'm trying to remember which ones it was. I noticed this with this match and at least one other one, where there were a couple times where the guys would distinctly yell out something about the fact that the other person wanted what was coming to them. And I just thought it was funny to like note that that happened a couple times.
Oh, they turned the mic up.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they
no,
turned
that's
the mic
fine.
up tonight.
I was just tripping out like
Yeah,
because
camera
like
mics were on tonight.
well
You
because
could
like
hear the guys
because
talking.
like you said, James, like Big E was even saying like Apollo asked for this. Like you wanted me to be like this, so I brought it to you. It's like
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, to the point of
yeah,
that finish, like
yeah.
kind of similar, in a similar vein to what we saw go down in the main event. You do see a case where even though Apollo lost that match, he can build up a case for himself to continue that chase. I think. And I think that was a
Yeah.
good way to actually handle that. Like, I, I think some
What?
people will see a finish like that and they'll be like, but I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to like push the story
Well,
forward.
technically, Biggie
Right,
won because
technically he won.
from what I saw, Biggie had his shoulders up. He had
Yeah, he
his
shifted
shoulders
his
down.
weight at
Looks
like
like
the
it.
last minute
But like I
to
said, Apollo
yeah.
can sell it the other way. But it is. I can see Cruz trying to making Biggie's life a living hell
Yeah.
now. And I think they might be going that route where Cruz is going to be just hassling him, and then Big E's going to be try hassling him back, and they're going to take this thing. I think the way they're going with it is they're going to be harassing each other for the whole three
Oh yeah.
weeks now, just messing with each other, just interfering with each other, just attacking each other backstage to the point where they're going to have to separate each other. That's why I was hoping that Apollo would get himself like a valet or something like a big, tough female as and make it like I said, if he's going Black Panther, might as well get him a honor guard,
Yeah, no,
female
for sure.
honor
Yeah.
guard. That'd be
Yeah.
hilarious.
So yeah, overall it was a good match.
Yeah, overall it accomplished what
Yeah.
it did.
Oh yeah, for
Continuation
sure.
of the you know.
So
And then also
what's up?
we also had did you see the Old
I
Spice
did.
commercial?
I was starting to wonder when we'd get to touch on this, but man,
I don't know because Joe Regular look like did he look like Rhino?
not
Who did
Rhino.
he
He
look
didn't.
like?
I forgot his name. I'd have to look it up, but he looked like somebody.
Was that
No,
Chucky?
he definitely looked like somebody that we had seen before, at least in NXT.
I
I
know,
can't quite put his. I can't quite place his name Yeah, so they
Average,
called him Joseph Average.
and
It was a whole thing.
he looked a little like
I
Rhino, and
know. I was
I
like,
couldn't
wait a
place him. I
minute.
was like, no, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I might put, but yeah.
I have to look that up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
So
look that up because
I
that's
saw the
annoying
name
me.
mentioned somewheres, and it was interesting because there was somebody that was like at one point in NXT, and then they weren't in NXT.
Yeah,
Let me.
and I can't. I see his face. I couldn't remember who he looked like. He looks like someone I know, and I was like calling himself Joe Average. And I'm just like, wait a minute, he looks familiar, and he's big. I mean, he's a big guy. But no, I thought it was funny as heck. I was like, here, like you have free samples here. I'm Joe Average, giving you free samples of Old Spice, and then you see R-Truth. It's kind of hiding
Yeah.
because it's Drew Gulak is looking for R-Truth because it's Drew Gulak, and he's like, Drew is always chasing after R-Truth, and so, but he gets the Old Spice, he smells it, he's like, ooh, this is
Yeah,
good,
yeah, yeah.
and then he's out. And then you see R-Truth, and you see R-Truth kind of hiding behind there, and then Kurosawa shows up. Where is
Yeah.
R-Truth? Where is it? I don't know no R-Truth, man. I'm just Joe Average trying to sell you this
Okay.
Old Spice. He's like, show me
Yeah, here we
R-Truth.
go. Here we
Yeah,
go.
and
Okay.
R-Truth hands him.
I have your
R-Truth hands
James. I do have your answer. I just looked it up because I had to find it.
Who is
Okay,
it?
so here's the deal. It was Eric Bugenhagen
It's
or Rick
Bugenhagen.
Buges, whichever one you want to go with. That was
Yes.
apparently who Joseph Regular was.
Yeah, Bugenhagen. Yeah, Bugenhagen was on NXT. He does the air guitar.
I mainly the
He does an
yeah.
air guitar routine when he comes
See
into
the
his NXT. He would come. He had the long
the
flowing
almost
mullet.
the yeah
He was a
the
throwback to the
almost
'80s.
yeah
He had the mustache.
the almost a sorry, what's the word I'm looking for, the almost embarrassing thing about it is that I remember him mostly because he was one of these dudes that during the early days of the pandemic or at one point when they were doing the shows at like NXT and you'd see the wrestlers in the crowd, you'd freaking see the you'd see that not everybody was following protocol.
You stood out.
He was one of the ones who got spotted with like his mask down or whatever. It's a whole thing. But anyways, so
No,
apparently
no, no, yeah.
he
He stood
apparently
out to me because he had the Magnum
yeah,
PI
exactly.
handlebar
But yeah.
mustache.
So
He had the mullet. He would do an air guitar routine going down to the ring. I mean, he would full air guitar just
yeah, I
going
generally
at
yeah,
it.
I found it funny like
And
so when someone pointed out that's who that was, I was like, "Oh, so that's how they got him back on TV again. This is the way."
yeah, he changed him up. He
He's
cut his
and
hair,
the really funny thing is that's the really
different hair
funny thing in my
color.
opinion. That's probably gonna be the last time we see him on TV in a while because he was just supposed to be he was a role. He had a very
No,
specific.
I thought he was
the
pretty
The
good. I thought he
commercial
was
was
pretty good in
funny
the
as all
commercial. I
heck.
thought he
I
did a
thought
well
it,
job.
I love that they worked. I love that they worked a 24/7 title change to into an
In the
Old
Old
Spice
Spice commercial.
commercial. I was like, wait a
Now that was
minute.
funny because I love that R2 hands
Yeah.
out the Old Spice. The Kurosawa grabs his arm, pulls him
Oh my
through,
gosh, I'm losing my
and then
mind.
he's like, "No, no!" And I was like, "No, no, 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 my Old
I
Spice!"
am
And he covers him
yes,
by
and then
accident,
won the
basically.
title.
And he's like, "I'm 24/7 champion." And then R2 goes, "Not for long." R2 was like that,
I was like, oh
and
my
he's like,
gosh,
"I'll
what?
take those Spice. You said it was Christmas."
I felt like I was
Takes off.
having a dang fever dream watching this. It was like, what is happening?
I was, man. And then Kurosawa was like, "You blew my
And he rips the shirt
chance,"
on, and,
and
he
he
says,
pulled
and then this
something,
thing about
and then the
the Night
Sex
Panther,
Panther, the
yeah.
Night
I'm
Panther,
like,
he's like, "Night
I was
Panther
like, wait a minute.
lives."
And then I remembered that
What
the
the
Night
hell?
Panther is like a thing within the Old Spice commercials, I think, if I remember that correct. So like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they not only managed to work in 2 title changes for the 24/7 championship onto the freaking onto this Old Spice commercial, they still
Onto
tied
the
in
show,
like continuity from other Old Spice commercials into this.
on the Old
I'm
Spice
like,
commercials, and then Kurosawa, I gotta admit, the Super Ninja, he sold that. He's like, "Night Panther lives."
and,
I was like, "Damn, you gotta put this man in for a Emmy, man. He
and
sold
this is where
that."
I have to go on a small tangent for a second because I was watching this commercial. I was watching Akira's acting in this commercial and everything he was doing. And I said to myself, here's a guy that I saw in like 2010, 2012 on the Indies, like at a PWG show. It is so it is so weird to me to still like even just to see him in WWE at this point, let alone doing these kinds of things, these segments. I'm not
I
complaining. I'm just saying it's such a
no,
it's
you gotta get your
yeah, no,
paycheck, man.
there's
I ain't
no
no
issue
problem with
here.
that.
I just want to make it clear it's so weird. Not in a bad way, but just
It is.
what?
It is. It is. No, I like a carousel.
And yeah,
Like
and
I
I
said,
think
he was
and that's
giving it his all. I
yes.
will admit he was. If he's gonna
And
do it, like I said, he's
exactly,
doing this. He's gonna
and
give
I
it his
think
all.
that's
And he's been
exactly the
doing that.
thing. Like it speaks to how well he's doing
Yeah.
in these things. That's like,
Well,
oh
like I
yeah,
said,
no,
I'm not mad at
perfectly
it.
fine.
He's trying to
But
get some.
yeah,
And he's trying to get. He's trying to get there. They're gonna pay me to. I can't be mad because they're gonna pay me. If I was him, they're gonna
like
pay
yeah,
me to do
I
this.
do it
I'll
too.
do it
Yeah,
to
no,
the fullest.
yeah, no, that is, but I guess I also bring that up because I was just it just even though that like even with that being what he's doing, I'm like at least he's doing something because let's not fool ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they first brought him in to do like cruiserweight stuff, they were barely doing stuff with the cruiserweight stuff initially. Like they made it a whole thing about.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they made a big deal about the cruiserweight division being exclusive to Raw, despite also having the 205 live show, which aired after SmackDown on Tuesdays at one point?
Well, they didn't. Well, the stupid part,
Right.
they didn't use it right. They didn't use them right. They weren't using them
And
the way they should have been
and
using
now
them.
the
They weren't
cruiserweights
using them
are at
right.
home on NXT. We'll talk about that another time. That I'm
Yeah.
excited about that stuff. But
So
anyways,
that's not that. But then we had was
the
what was
women's
the
yeah the
women's title
women's tag
match?
team championship. Nia and Shayna defending against Sasha and Bianca.
Well, it went the way I thought
Pretty
it was
much,
going
yeah.
to. Like I said, it was. I knew. I like I said, we were hoping they wouldn't do their champions and their contenders because they already
Yeah,
did that already. They've done that
yeah.
before. They already did it with Sasha with Bailey, so
They
I'm
didn't
happy
need to
they
do
didn't
that
do
here.
that.
And even though, like, I very specifically, yeah.
They did tease the Nia Jax Shayla Baszler breakup again. They're teasing
Which
that again.
not to be overly negative, but there's a part of me that doesn't really care because I've not really
Yeah.
been super invested in Nia and Shayna as tag team champions. But that's
Well, no, I hate that Shayla's in this. I know Shayla's trying to at least stay relevant in the championship and everything like that because she's so much better as
yeah,
a singles though. But they're not pushing her like that anymore.
yeah. So I mean, it
So
is
it's
what it is. But
so I'm happy that she's still prominent.
yeah,
As a champion, she's a tag team champion, and she's still being prominent as that. But because they're not pushing her as the monster, she actually can play and be well at like that. And then Nia Jax got the thing
which
with Reginald, which I said she should be playing. That should be her character. She should be the sugar
I
mama. That Reginald's her boy toy, and she's just wearing him out. That would be
and you know what?
hilarious.
I mean that.
Reginald's just like the original's tower off and everything, and he's tired because she's just tearing him
Jeez.
up.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I mean the match itself was good. But
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of a weird spot for them to be in. Like,
well, no, they used it. They used it to set Sasha up
oh
as
yeah,
the
yeah,
heel. Essentially, this was used
for
to
sure,
set
for
Sasha
sure.
up as a heel, and so Sasha's until what the basically this match accomplished is now Sasha has basically turned into the heel. She's gonna be the heel of this feud now, which I knew they're always gonna go that route. He just simple because she slapped her so damn hard though. I mean, damn, that was a slap. You can feel that slap. That
Yeah,
was a slap. That's how you're supposed to do it. You gonna slap
yeah,
somebody, you gonna slap them. She slapped the taste out her mouth. So they're setting up as Sasha's the veteran. She's been doing this for a long time. You're the upstart. You're the rookie. You got your shot at, but I want to beat you. You don't got what it take yet to be champion. You're not going to beat me. I'm the best right now. I think
yeah,
they're going that route now. And so that's what this match was. It was a match to set this up and everything, which they yes, but they they didn't really need to do it like that. He could have just done that naturally, but hey, it is what it is. That one. And we did get like a tweet. I know I heard a tweet where Ruby Riot was Riot
Ruby
Ruby
Riot, yeah.
Riot. She was tweeting that they're still champions, so they might be set up. The Riot Squad might have the title at
Yeah, that'd be
WrestleMania,
good. I wouldn't mind
like that.
seeing that. But yeah.
And well, I think we've been
Yeah,
doing talking
yeah.
long enough
I
here. I
do.
know.
I do want to touch
Uh,
on the one thing I want to touch on with the kickoff
mhm.
show, because they did have a match
Yeah,
on the kickoff show. Obviously, the U.S. title match kind of was what it was. The bigger story coming off of that is whatever situation there's going on with Ali and Retribution. I think it's going to go one of two ways. The
yeah,
obvious route is for that to be the end of, at least the end of Retribution working with, yeah,
that
with
version
at
of
least the end
Retribution.
of them working
Yeah.
with Ali in that regard, which would be kind of a shame because if I'm being completely honest, Retribution was, it's always been kind of start and
It
stop
had
with
potential.
how interesting that group
Yeah.
is. The more I was more interested in like seeing what Ollie as a leader would be like than like when they just randomly showed up. But so it either is the end of them working with
No,
Ali, or we're gonna see a thing tomorrow night where Ali pushes them around some more or something. I don't know.
no, he's done. They basically double choke
True.
slammed him to
So
hell.
I have no idea what
So
the heck's going on.
they're basically broken off on their own. Now I don't know how they're gonna roll with it.
Maybe.
Hopefully, maybe Mia Yim. Hopefully, maybe they keep Mia Yim on the main roster. She takes the
Right,
mask
right,
off. She
right. That
starts
oh,
working.
that's actually a good point. Yeah, that would be an interesting
Yeah.
development if they do decide.
Hopefully, maybe or they go without Ali as the leader and they keep if it's like T-Bar and Slapjack as
Hmm.
a tag team, or I don't know, Dio Man's kid Rooksy. Well, probably Dio and Slapjack as a tag team. The black the Dio man. What's his name? Dio's name. I don't remember. And then T-Bar, which is I know Dijakovic. He does a singles
Yeah,
run.
I mean that's honestly that
That
is, there is a part of me that's just ready for the retribution experiment to be over. Like I would, yeah.
Well, at least the Ali incarnation, they could have still run them as a tag team. I could see, like I said, uh, Dio Madden's character and Slapjack
Hmm.
rolling as a tag team, and Raw needs tag teams, so I could see them as a
Yeah.
tag team
But
and
yeah,
everything.
I
And
yeah,
and TR
I think
just
to that point we'll
yeah.
just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. I am gonna.
Hope, hopefully they just break them up and they just roll them singles. He takes off. T-Bar and
Yeah,
Dijakovic just
exactly.
comes out as
And
Dijakovic.
I will also say as a programming note that if this is the end of Retribution, then I'm sure we can definitely make time for a farewell to Retribution segment on Thursday for our regular OPW live
Oh,
show.
we will. We will. We will make a farewell to Retribution. We will do the epilogue. We will do the epitaph to Retribution on
Perfect.
this Thursday. It'll be the
We'll send
epitaph,
them off the right way.
and we'll do that because I think they're done. I think this incarnation is done, and they might just have scrapped it because whoever started this, it never achieved what it
Yeah,
should.
no, we'll
Well, we'll
talk
talk
about more
about
on
it on
Thursday.
Thursday.
I did, but yeah, I guess, and that's why I did want to bring it up now, just because like that there was more to that than the match itself, because the match itself was
Yeah, the match
whatever.
itself was it
It
was
was a
it
good.
actually wasn't a bad
That I
match.
think,
I did like the finish. He hit the Bro
yeah,
Derek from
like
the top
I
rope,
think that,
which was an avalanche version
yeah,
of
I
Bro
think
Derek,
that's
which was great.
yeah, I
It
think
was a
that's the
great match.
unfortunate theme of the night is that overall the show was okay. There were some good
Yeah,
moments,
oh yeah,
and a lot of it was being used to set up and like continue things until Mania, and
yeah.
that's fine. That's that's kind of the. But I think, uh, yeah,
Basically, the show was called Fastlane. Exit to
exactly.
WrestleMania.
It was time. It was time to get off the we found the off ramp to WrestleMania is what happened.
Yeah, the off ramp to
Um,
WrestleMania. So us wrap it up with our
yeah.
grades here. Like I said, like I
Hmm.
said, we'll wrap up the grades. It was, I would say, probably I'll give it a B. Like I said, for the first show for Peacock, and Peacock, I'll be honest with you, was solid.
Hmm.
And like Chris said, Chris also said to Discord that it was solid, and I liked it. I liked it on Peacock. I never had a problem with the old WWE Network. There's always was kind of a problem or issue with a pay-per-view sometimes. Never had a problem at
That's
all.
good. I
Never
will
had a
say that
problem.
I will say that I watched it on the previous on the network as it is now because
Oh,
okay, because they did clarify at one point what their plans were for the
yeah,
transition, and one of them was that if you had a recurring subscription, that it would that they would just stop billing you after the end of that billing cycle.
yeah.
Mine comes up in a couple days, so I'm like, I have 2 more days of the
Okay.
network as it is, and then I'm free to get ready to do the Peacock stuff when it gets closer, because there is that coupon code, and I'm probably gonna, you know,
Yeah, $2.
yeah.
$2. Yeah,
So
250.
for
so for 250 for the
yeah,
next
3 or 4
3 months,
months,
I
it's like
think.
that's not too bad at all. Yeah, because I think it's about $10 for
Oh yeah,
because it's about
$9.
ten
It's
bucks
$10.
for it's about $10 for 4 months, I think. So it's like $250 a month. So that's not too
Yeah,
bad a deal. And plus,
yeah, and I had it on.
yeah,
I had it on Peacock.
and
I had
plus
it on
to
Peacock, and I liked it. Like I said, it was solid. It had no issues. I had no issues at all. No
that's
buffering
good.
issues. Any of
That's
that. It
good. So
was
that's
solid. So I thought for their first effort, they did
good.
a real good job. And they even have was very cool at the very
Uh
end.
huh.
When the logo comes up, it was all your show has concluded, and they had like thank you for watching. I was like, okay, I know it's
Nice.
over now. And they added a little
Nice. Nice. Nice.
bumper.
Cool.
So
Okay.
very cool,
So
very
yeah.
cool on
Final
that
thoughts.
one.
Final grades. What would you gave it
B.
B?
I give it a
I
B.
yeah.
I give it a B
Hmm.
because it's a solid, like I said, it's a solid show. It was all these matches were great, were good matches. I never had a problem, but it was basically the pay per view status quo. The pay per view, nothing's changed. Or you could say to be
Yeah.
continued.
No.
The pay per view.
Exactly. Honestly, that's my final grade as well. A B. The matches were solid with some great. Like there were definitely spots of greatness there, but I think the booking kind of pushed it back a bit because of, again, a lot of it's stuff to set up for WrestleMania. So yeah, I think B is a good solid
Yeah.
grade to give it. So there we go.
I tell you, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like I said. It was good. It wasn't terrible. It was just like middle. It's
Yeah.
kind of say middle of the road. Like I said, nothing too bad, nothing terrible. It's just, I thought it was there's some good funny moments, had some good moments. I still love the old Smash commercial. I don't know why. I found that hilarious.
I think it says
I know.
something
Like I
when
said, it
I
was
think
just
it's
some real. It
yeah.
was just some real to see that type of commercial. But I will give it props. If they do more of that, I will be happy. If I've seen more of this R-Truth in commercials selling stuff and
Yeah, exactly. Give us
the
that,
24/7 title, I'm fine.
we recently saw freaking R-Truth, like when R-Truth went to go win the title back from what's his face, Rosenberg, I think it was. No, from
But Bad
Rosenberg.
Bunny.
No, I'm talking about like when Rosenberg won it at like a,
Roseburg, yeah, Roseburg, yeah. He went on the show.
and he went
Didn't he
on
went on
he
Rosenberg's
he
show?
popped up in Rosenberg's hotel room while he was on his morning show to win the title back. Like, you do stuff like that, and you got me hooked on
Yeah.
that title because
And then he did the Bad Bunny thing was him shilling the Stone Cold merchandise
I
for
guess I'm
Stone
like,
Cold Week.
what's going on? I
Yeah. So like I said, I have no problem with that. Like I said, overall, like it was a good
absolutely.
show. I'll give them respect for that. Okay, let's well, Alex, let's wrap it up here. I think we talked and
I think we
rambled on
did too.
enough right
But this
now.
was good. Yeah. So yeah, until Thursday when we hang out to do our usual OPW live show, you can check out everything at OccupyProWrestling.com for all things Occupy Pro Wrestling. I'm doing a little bit of a revamp on there. Now that we're doing more of our own content, I'm kind of refocusing our efforts a little bit. Gonna find a new place for all the site partner news, but yeah, there's a little bit of a revamp coming in the next few days here. You can also, let me remember what direction I'm pointing in. There we go. You can also find us at all the socials at Power the number 2 the Smarks. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Whatever. Pretty much, if it's a social media platform, there's a good chance we're on there somehow. But
Yeah.
you can also find us on the YouTube at Power the number 2 the Smarks. You'll find highlights from OPW Live and other content coming. I'm in the works of finishing up a booking video that Chris had recorded, talking about essentially kind of rebooking the intended feud between Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair. So that's an exciting project coming in. We've got some other videos in the works as well. But
Mm-hmm.
until Thursday, I've been Alex at Alex Smiley Plays on the Twitch. James has been James at JJ Titan 70. Sorry, JJ Titan Dog 70 on the Twitch. Our buddy Chris, you can find him at uh, at T-Bone is live on the Twitch, and we will catch you guys on Thursday. Have a good night, everybody.